Hello and welcome back for Module 1, Lesson 5, Refining Your Offering. So hopefully by now you've had a chance to go out and talk to some people about your business offering and had some really great feedback from people about the different services that you plan to offer as part of your freelance business. And if you haven't, then I really hope that you've had some constructive feedback. So things that are going to help you to make a really great offering for your potential clients and to get your business launched. So in this session, we're going to talk about why to refine your ideas and how to refine your ideas. So let's get on into it. So why refine? Well, it's probably pretty obvious, but you want to make the most of the feedback that you had during the validation process. So no doubt most of you will have had some feedback that you can incorporate to improve upon your initial ideas. It's often really helpful just talking even if with one other person about your business idea. You might pick up a few little things that you can tweak and some additional services you want to add. So let's make the most of that feedback and really tweak your offering so that you have the best possible offer for your ideal client. And I think that you'll find that once you've done that, you're going to have a really great offer that works really well, both for potential clients and also for you. So how to refine? So what you want to do is you want to go back and look at the notes that you took during the process of talking to people, or maybe have a look at some of the feedback you had on Facebook, and think about whether there's anything from the feedback that you've had that you need to incorporate into your offering. Now, like I mentioned, some of the stuff you might want to be a bit careful about, people who might have given you feedback that don't understand your industry and that kind of thing. But usually there'll be some things from the process that you can take and use to amend your original offering and maybe add some additional services or take some things out, or perhaps you might have had some feedback that something should be priced differently or packaged up differently. You might have come up with some different packages. Like, quite often people will have packages of things like a basic package, a medium package, and then a more comprehensive package. And if you've asked for feedback on those kind of things, then you might have had feedback that the basic package needs something else added to it, or maybe you've had feedback that your basic package might be too comprehensive for the kind of price that you're offering, or something along those lines. So you then might just make some little tweaks to your offering, add in some new services. So what I'm kind of thinking about, for example, if I come back to the example that I used previously for me, is that I might have thought, well, okay, I'm going to offer services to lawyers writing blog posts and journal articles, and then the feedback might actually be, well, it'd be more helpful if you were to provide some of those other administrative services, like I was talking about, like things like maybe doing invoicing, or maybe doing other types of, file management, like filing emails, things like that, that might be more useful than what I thought I was going to offer. So you can change your offering in that way based on the feedback that you have had. And I would say that if you've had some negative feedback, don't necessarily be discouraged, but you might like to go back to the drawing board and see whether you could do something differently. And then you might decide, well, once you've done that, you want to go back to the people who provided you feedback and say, well, what do you think about this now? If they're willing to do that, if they've provided you with the kind of feedback, you might, or even during the process of talking to them, they might have offered to have a look or have another chat with you later once you've made some changes. But I'd say, again, if they've been willing to talk to you in the first place, I would just ask them, if you can go back and say, oh, well, I've made these changes, what do you think? And then, it doesn't have to be all done in one go. It might be a bit of a iterative process. So you might go to and fro with people and tweak things and ask for more feedback, or ask for feedback from different people, or put your posts back into a another Facebook post or back into the same Facebook group to get more feedback. But what I would say also is that don't overthink it too much. Again, it's sort of coming back to that whole idea around you being the secret sauce. So you have probably got a pretty good idea of what people in your industry need and what would be helpful. So make sure that you don't let people who don't necessarily know your industry well to put you off from offering the kind of business that you want to offer. Because again, what you have to offer might be quite different from what other people think they want or think that they need, based on their experience of things. So take the feedback into account, but don't let it stop you from taking action, or don't let it make you spend too much time in this process of planning your business, because you want to actually get out there and start finding your first clients and launching your business. And that really is ultimately going to be the big test of validation. And this process of coming up with your offering and then refining it is just going to be sort of one step in the journey. You're definitely going to find that as you get on, spend some time working in your business and working with real clients, real paying clients, that you will refine things as you go. So like I've said in this slide, your offering can and probably will change over time. So, you might find that to start off with, like I mentioned earlier in the previous lesson, that you might have some things that you do now, like it might be that, like, again, if I come back to my example, ideally I might want to do only writing legal journal articles for lawyers, but actually for the time being, I can get more work doing the invoicing side of things. So I might have a broader offering now, and then I might refine back to doing just my ideal things later. Or you might find that actually there's other services that you didn't even think of that are in demand, and you might add them in later. So your offering can and probably will change over time. So don't spend too much time getting stuck in this process. And I've also said that don't let creating the perfect offer hold you back from getting started. So, based on the feedback you've had and the work that you've done yourself to come up with this offering, you might be sort of umming and ahhing about getting the right combination of services and things in there. Just put down, what your best idea is, put down what you think is going to be really good. And then, most things like websites, for example, or even business cards these days are fairly cheap to print. So if you're going to put things on your business card, normally you can change those things, your marketing materials, your Facebook page, when you change your offering, just change all those things and do it again, and refine your offer again and again and again until you come up with what works for you. And then again, even then, it's probably going to change. So just work with what you've got now and develop it as time goes on. So your action station for this module is to go back and review your offer based on the feedback that you've received at the validation stage. And you might also want to go back to those Facebook groups where you posted your original validation questions and put a new post and just ask for further feedback. A lot of people will probably remember your post, but some of those people who might have interacted with your post a few weeks ago or a few days ago might remember you, or you could even comment on your original post and say, look, this is what I'm thinking, or reply to some of the people who, gave you really helpful feedback on your Facebook posts and ask them, this is what I'm thinking, what do you think now? So make the most of those groups. And also you might like to go back to some of the people you interviewed, like I mentioned, and ask them for feedback on your refined idea. And chances are that you'll get some really positive feedback again from your further refined offering. So this is really exciting stuff now. We're getting really, really clear on the kind of business that you're going to have, and that's really exciting. So I think you deserve to give yourself a good pat on the back for all of the work that you've done so far. It's really exciting and really positive. So that is the last lesson for module 1. So we're going to move on next to module 2, lesson 1, and we're going to talk a bit about some of the basics of what you will need to launch your freelance business.